Hi, this is Tim Fargo, President of Social Jukebox, and I'd like to give you an orientation of the system, and we'll take it from the top. So this is where you encounter the system from the beginning, our homepage. And there you've got your three social sign-in buttons. You can sign in with Facebook, you can sign in with Twitter, or you can sign in with LinkedIn. We post to all three of those, so you can pick any of them. I'm going to go ahead and sign in with Twitter and get us in that way. And I'm going to authorize the app. One thing real quick as we go through this, I do get questions sometime and people say, ooh, you're going to read tweets and you're going to look at my profile and things like that. We're not going to do any of that stuff. We don't do anything but post on your behalf. That's it. So if you please don't be alarmed. I mean, this is a standard disclosure that comes from Twitter. We don't have anything to do with the construction of it. Okay? Thanks. So on we go. Excuse me. And now it's asking me to put in an email address, and I'm going to use Tim McSlyden, which is kind of a joke. And then down here we have two options. One is plug my jukebox in, and the other is say thanks to folks that mention me. You may or may not want these, okay? Plug my jukebox in means basically that your sample jukebox will be turned on, which puts a little pressure on you to kind of keep moving. Say thanks to folks that mention me. This is specifically for Twitter, where we send thank you tweets to people that interact with you. If you want them, great. If not, you can deselect them. Either way is fine. So I'm logging in here, and now I'm in the account, right? So this is the first place you're going to end up. We do have a little bit of a help menu here, and I want to quickly point out that there's a free quote jukebox, and there's actually some people that think that social jukebox is the purpose is to send out quotes, and that actually isn't true. The purpose is to send out content. The quotes are, if you've ever bought a picture frame and there's a photo inside it of some happy couple, I mean, this is the equivalent. Or you've seen a sweater on a mannequin. This is the equivalent. The data is in here because it gives you something to look at. And if you wanted to tweet something out, quotes, in particular for Twitter, happen to be pretty popular. But that's what it's for. It's just to give you an outline of how the system works. You don't have to use these. You can delete them if you want and put your own content in. That's absolutely fine. This is just a way for you to get started. So that's the beginning. Now let's talk a little bit before we go any further. Let's talk real quick about what is a jukebox. Okay, a jukebox is a reservoir of content. And it could be our content that you get from our library, which I'll talk about in a minute, or it can be your own content that you put in because you're a blogger, you're a podcaster, you're a business owner, whatever it is. You've got some posts, tweets, LinkedIn posts, whatever it is that you want to have go out. You want to share your content and you want to automate it. So you can put these into a jukebox. And then how does it work on the outbound side? Well, it's random. Okay, you don't know what post is going to go out in what order. Because it shuffles them constantly. We do have a filter in there to make sure we don't duplicate the same posts. Like, it's if you can imagine like an hourglass, it'll empty out and then it turns over and it starts all over again. So things aren't going to get repeated in that regard. But it's a random sequence. It's not the sequence you put them in at. It's random every time. They don't go out in the same order every time. It's completely random every single time. So that's how jukeboxes work. Now here's the posts, and you can kind of see how they work. You can edit. You can go over here, browse. This is where you add a photograph if you wanted to. We have emojis if you're interested in that. Some people are, some people aren't. But you can go in here and you can modify a post. If you so desire. And here you have when it says last posted and it says never. Some people ask me, well, never, does that mean it's never going to post? That's not what it means. It means it hasn't posted yet. And it'll stay like that until it actually goes out, right? And then you've got this hashtag. And so that's something I'm going to reference in a second. But when it's a minus, it means it's not going to add a hashtag. In this case, it's a minus because there isn't one. Okay, and the little trash can, as you might guess, is if you want to get rid of it, right? So if you do click on it, it's going to ask if you want to delete. No. You can also do massive, moves and deletes and things like that by selecting everything from this top button, and then using the drop down menu from above. Um, Add a post, same thing. Appear, pretty simple. Um, so let's move on. I mean, I'm going through this pretty fast, but I want to just give you the kind of the basics. And the best thing to do, honestly, is get in here and work with it a little bit. So here's a schedule for the free quote jukebox, right? So what I want to do, I want to modify this. I don't want it going out every 50 minutes. I want it going out every 7 hours and 50 minutes. Okay, or actually, you know what? Even 8 hours and 50 minutes. So I'm going to set it up that way. I'll click on this to save, and boom, there you have it. Now they're all. That's one way to just schedule all for one jukebox. If I said, but I don't really want these quotes going on Tuesdays, I can select here, right? And then I can turn this on and off. And then when I save it, okay, then this day is off. If I said, I don't want what quotes going on Friday either. Okay, so you can do that as well. So boom, now we've got it going out for these different days, and except for Tuesdays and Fridays. Now let's go from scheduling, and there's a lot of different things you can do in terms of how you schedule, and the frequencies you want to put in, and what. Just by the way, these are frequency levels, right? So if let's go to the days that are scheduled here. The first post is going to go out at midnight, okay, at 12. So that's at 12 midnight. The next post is going to go out 8 hours and 50 minutes after that. And then the next post is going to go out 8 hours and 50 minutes after that. The next post there won't be because there's not enough time in the day to add another 8 hours and 50 minutes. Each day is a discrete event, and what that means is you can't fiddle with Monday to get it to post at like 1:05 on Tuesday morning. Tuesday is Tuesday, Monday is Monday. The days don't leak into each other. It doesn't work like that. So that covers most of the questions I typically get. So let's go to options now. That's the scheduling piece. Here we have the jukebox name. You can name it whatever you want. Could be Tim's free quote jukebox. And then you can name them like, this is like a filing system or folders in your system, and you want to remember what's in one or another, and you have some kind of filing convention you want to adhere to. That's completely up to you. Jukebox type. Okay, so we've got a few different types. All right. Regular is, as you might guess, regular. Then you have once and done, which is available with a paid subscription. And what is once and done? Once and done means that it's going to send out every single post in the jukebox, and then it's going to turn off. Not forever, but just until you turn it back on again. So it's just a way. Let's say that you had a series of posts, tweets, whatever that you wanted to have go out. You could set a once and done jukebox. You could turn it on. It'll go through everything once, and then it'll shut off. Okay. The date range is probably self-explanatory, but just in case, it's going to let you put in dates to when to start and when to finish posting. Okay. So that's great, like for the holidays, or if you've got a promotion going on, and you create a jukebox of posts around that promotion, and you want to run that pretty hard for say a week, but then at the end of the week the promotion's over, so you could put a start and an end date, and then when it's over, it'll turn the jukebox off automatically. You don't have to do anything. All right. So let's go down to here to add a hashtag, and we're actually going to change this because basically you can add anything to the end of a post if there's space. Okay, we don't amend your posts if there's not room for a hashtag or a link or whatever you'd want to put in here. then it's not gonna edit the post, because we don't have any way of thinking through how you'd want us to do that, and this is a very mechanical functionality. So, but let's say I want to have something I personally mess with quite a bit, is different hashtags around quotes, because it's sort of my signature thing on Twitter. So Wednesday Wisdom could be the hashtag. And if I save that, and I can go here, and let's just go back real quick. I want to show you this. See all the plus signs? This means that there's room. These quotes are all short enough that this hashtag is going in. Okay, so when it posts, it's also going to post the hashtag. So that's what that means. But another thing you could use this functionality for is, let's say that you're an affiliate, or you've got a link to something you want people to click on, and you want to add it to every post without having to go and individually edit each one of them. You can add that link in this section, and it will add it to every post where there's room. Okay, so that's basically that. Those are jukeboxes. And here's the on off switch. I'm just going to leave this off. I'm saving it, and now I'm going to go to targeted posts. So targeted posts are different than jukeboxes, as you might guess. So let's put something in here, really creative. This is a targeted post. And the purpose of a targeted post is when you want to repeat something more steadily, and you want to have greater precision around when it's going to go out to your audience. Okay, so for instance, let's say I want to start this on the 17th at 8 a.m. and I want it to post every 18 hours. Awesome. If I want to add a photo, I can add a photo by clicking on Browse. It's optional, obviously. So I can, go in here, and I can schedule this to go out at a certain frequency. And it's different than a jukebox, because it's going to hit this specific, it's not random, this is specific, right? So this is going to go out every 18 hours, and then if we were dealing with an upgraded package, we could put an end date as well. Now, one of the other things you can do with targeted posts, which I think is really cool, is you can set a transfer date up. Now, I don't have I have this jukebox, which is the quote jukebox, but let's say that I want this post to go out every 18 hours for 1 week, from the 17th, and then on the 24th, and let's say at the same time at 8 o'clock, I'm going to have this post transfer, and now I'm going to bring it back up again. It's going to transfer to that jukebox. And the point of that, real quick, is that you've got this thing that's being promoted, right? So there's two things you're going to want to have happen with this post when it's done being promoted. Either A, you're just going to want to get rid of it, in which case you're not going to transfer it anywhere. You'll probably have it just be saved as a draft, if you've got the upgraded option of ending it, or you're just going to go in and manually delete it. However, there are going to be targeted posts where you're promoting something, like maybe you're a podcaster and you've got a new podcast that came out. You want to promote that podcast for a week, right after it comes out, to try to get as much traffic to it as possible. But then the next week you're going to have another one coming out, right? So, but what you could do, you could have this post, this promotional post, drop into a jukebox of your podcast. Same thing if you're a blogger, or if you're promoting something, in your restaurant, your bar, your surf shop, whatever it is. You can have the post drop into a jukebox of related content, where you don't have to re-enter that in another place. It'll be promoted, and then it'll go to a place, a jukebox, where it'll be shared less frequently. Okay, so that's targeted posts. And now I want to go down here. I want to show you the visual schedule. And actually, I've got to turn this on in order for that to happen, because it only will show you like what's on. And so here is what we scheduled before, right? And that's what the visual schedule is. It just shows you when your posts are going to go out. So because of the way I scheduled it, um, we have 3 updates on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. Tuesday and Friday, as I indicated when I was scheduling, are off. So now you can just get kind of an at a glance of what's going on. Um, the next thing down is switch an account. That's not available here because we're dealing with a free account. We haven't added an account. But if you have a paid subscription and you have more than one Twitter account, or you're also using your Facebook account and your LinkedIn account, and those are added in, then what you can do is you can switch. You can log in one place and then switch back and forth to the other accounts. And the other really nice thing, and you'll see this on the Jukebox, real quick. I'm going to go back. It doesn't have it here because there's no other accounts. Sorry, but once you have other accounts, you can copy content from one account to another, which is super, super helpful because then you don't have to enter things over and over and over again. You can just transfer things back and forth between. Auto schedule. Now, here's another way of doing this, and this is a tool I came up with because people were scratching their heads wondering, like, how am I going to schedule it? I want this many updates a day, but sometimes people don't want to do math. So I came up with the idea for this. And on a free account, you're allowed up to 5 posts per day. Let's say we want to do this on all days. And so I'm going to when I click save, it's going to calculate the schedule. Okay, auto schedule was generated successfully. So let's go in here and see what it did for us. All right, because it's going to have changed now the schedule that I set in the actual Jukebox itself. This is a place, and this is super handy when you've got multiple Jukeboxes and you don't want them kind of running into each other and things like that. The system will automatically space everything out so nothing is bumping into each other. So let's go in and see what it did. So the way it's spacing them out, it's going to have one go out at midnight, and then at 4:48, and then at 9:36, and then 2:24, and then 7:15. Again, if you had more Jukeboxes and you had a paid account where you could schedule many, many more posts, it would allow you to do all of that, and you don't have to do any calculations. The system does them all for you. From here, let's go to the library. And I know I'm going pretty fast here, but you can always rewind and play back, right? So what is the library? The library is a place where you can go and you can get content that's been either created or curated by us or by your fellow users. Okay, so if you want to put a Jukebox in here, you can reach out to me and I'll authorize your account, and you can then put things into the library. So, but this is a great place if you're having difficulty coming up with extra content, and I highly encourage you to get rid of your free quote Jukebox after you've learned the system. Come here, get some new things, get some things that aren't seen quite as much, because every user that signs up for this, and there's over 45,000 people that have signed up for this, so a lot of people have that Jukebox, right? So there's less people that have the ones in here, so as you can see from the numbers. So you can come in here, see what's popular, see what you like, and download content from here, and it'll give you something to share with your audience. And there's a variety of things here. There's a lot of quotes here, but there's also, we have some things about dogs, we have things about we have an Alzheimer's one, we have things for charities, there's Christmas posts, there's all kinds of things in here. So you come in and have a look around. Then I want to take you someplace, and amazing how many people don't know about this. If you click on your username, the reason this little gear here is because there's a menu there. So what do we have here? So first off, let's go to thank you tweets, and that allows you to go in and thank the people who have interacted with you and things like that. And I'm having a technical difficulty here at the moment. Okay, sorry about that. It didn't go from the library. And now you know that it does that for me too. Um, as part of the free plan, you can send out thank yous every Friday, um, or send out a daily promo. Most people just send out the thank yous. Um, so send Friday thank yous, and so that's me selecting it that I want to do it. And then this next list is basically people who you do not want to get thank yous. And you might think, why is that? You will find from time to time somebody who says, I don't know you, whatever, and I don't want to get these. So you can enter their username here and they won't get them from you anymore. Um, and I can tell you, just because I get asked about this from time to time, people say, I never interacted with this person. If they were mentioned in a post that you sent to someone else, a mention is an interaction. If they, so if they mentioned you, or if you interact at all with them, the system doesn't go and try to see if it was really meaningful contact. We're just measuring like it was a retweet or whatever. Sometimes people forget. In the history of the system, with the over 45,000 users, I've never had an instance where I haven't found the interaction that resulted in the thank you. So it's a system and it picks everything up. The main point here, though, if you have somebody you want out, you can take them out. I personally, the whole reason this is part of the system, it's something I used to do by hand every week when I was first getting going on Twitter, and it took me a ton of time. So when I was having this system designed, I had this included because I thought it was a really nice way to kind of reach out to people once a week and just remind them that you interacted before and kind of keep things rolling, right? So that's what thank you tweets are. And then let's go down here to my settings. Okay. And Tim, and you know my name is Fargo. And so here you can put in your name, you can put in your email address, and importantly, for some of you that are in the UK, Europe, Australia, or Asia, wherever in the world you are, you're not in New York. So you're going to want to go in here and change your time zone accordingly. And actually, right at this moment, I am in Europe. So I am in a time zone. I'm in Poland. So I'm going to save my time zone. And it said there'll be an interruption in service. If you set this from the beginning, all it's going to do, it's just because it changes times. So it takes us, the system is going to recalculate everything. So if you were in the middle of posting, and you had a lot of stuff going on and you changed it, you'd probably see an interruption in your service, and then the system recalculates everything and will restart. So that's what that's about. So I'm going to save this, and then that's done. Here's the payment info. Now, I don't have any payment info here, right? You can use PayPal, you can use credit card number, and this will happen when you go to pick a plan. But sometimes people ask me like, oh, I need to change my credit card or whatever. This is where you do that. And then we're going to go back here and linking an account. Now this is something that you can't really do because it's not a paid account. But here's where you'd go if you were adding, let's say, like, you know what, I'm going to use this for my, like you can post to, like a company page. You can post to your profile as well. But if you wanted to post to your page or a group, you can do it through here. So if you wanted to link, you'd link to your Facebook account, and then the actual selection of where the post will go for Facebook and LinkedIn is done at the Jukebox level. But this is where you do the linking. If you are interested in plans, this review plan options is where you can see free, advanced, pro, business, and ultimate. So you can pick which one feels right for you. When it says perfect match for my use, this is based on the size of stored information in your account. It doesn't say anything about how often you want to post or what your future intentions are. So you'll have to kind of pick according to that. And those are all the biggest and best features of this system. I will just show you real quick. We don't again have multiple jukeboxes here, but one of the things, like let's say that you're in, I'm going to just demonstrate that you have a search box here for the juke at the jukebox level if you just want to search the jukebox. But let's say you want to search all your jukeboxes. You can use this search function up at the top of the screen, and it will search all your jukeboxes, right? So you'll get these up here. So if you're wanting to know where a particular post is or something, that's how you can go about tracking it down. That's it. I know it's been a little bit of a long video. I've been kind of bouncing through it quick, but I really want to cover everything for you because you'll get so much more out of the system from that. And as always, if you have any questions, you can reach me at tim@socialjukebox.com. Have an awesome day. Thanks.